This episode is sponsored by NordVPN. Living in Indonesia, where the government censors and restricts certain websites, can be inconvenient, to say the least. And so that's why I use NordVPN to access those certain websites that stimulate the imagination and spark new ideas, like Reddit. That's where I get most of my ideas for episodes on the show. What did you think I was gonna say? Okay, but beyond that, I actually do use NordVPN in real life, you guys, like way before they even reached out to me for the sponsorship, because unlike most people, I actually care about data privacy and protection. When I'm on public Wi-Fi, like at malls, airports, and cafes, activating NordVPN encrypts my traffic, making sure hackers, stalkers, and trackers can't monitor my activities or steal my passwords, emails, or personal information. It's also helpful if you're like me and you have hundreds to thousands of people online trying to dox you and stalk you, because NordVPN makes me basically untraceable. NordVPN's threat protection feature blocks malicious sites, creepy ad trackers, pop-ups, and phishing attempts. Basically, a built-in bodyguard for your browser. And unlike free VPNs, NordVPN doesn't log your online activity, and you can leave it running 24/7. It's fast, stable, and works in over 100 countries. And now, NordVPN is giving all you TIGS listeners an exclusive deal, a 2-year plan plus 4 extra months with 30 days money-back guarantee. Just go to nordvpn.com/IndahG or use code IndahG at checkout. That's INDAHG. We're recording. Okay. Oh, we have no intro because nobody gives a shit about intros.
Really?
Yeah, we just jump straight into it, girl.
Oh, okay.
We just jump straight into it. No, but yeah, my I went to psychiatry yesterday, and my psychiatrist was like, yeah, you need to take your medications, be more mindful, and also, you're turning 28 soon. Yeah, you need a partner.
When's your birthday?
April 17th, coming up.
Beneran, it's
like next week.
Coming up.
Is it? Yeah, it's good. April 17th. Do not forget or I will fire you, Tito.
Okay. Yeah. I won't forget.
Yes.
I'll put it in my calendar.
Wait, what's your birthday?
January 6th. I'm a Capricorn.
Oh, okay. Jesus was a Capricorn.
Mm-hmm.
That's so random. You're not even
That's true.
Christian. Anyways.
No. But that's what I always tell people.
Jesus is a Capricorn? That's a song.
Oh, really?
There's a song
I didn't know
called
that.
Jesus is a Capricorn.
Jesus was a Capricorn. He ate organic foods.
Anyways, why are we talking about Jesus?
Okay.
We're talking about
What we've been talking about dating.
She wants to set me up with somebody
Older.
Girl, that's scary.
No, it's not scary. Someone to take care of you. Someone you respect. Someone that you can learn from and like be partners with. I mean, like I was saying, like you're very powerful. You know what you want, right?
I intimidate a lot of men, guys.
Do you?
I do. No, and you know what? I want to set the record straight. I intimidate a lot of men, and I'm low-key kind of proud of it, not gonna lie. I feel like it filters out.
Why do you think they're scared? Like, what is scary about you?
I think it's the opinionatedness and the fact that they know that I don't take shit.
And that you won't, like, always agree with them.
Yeah, no. That I think, I mean, if even in the friendship department, that can sometimes be a little bit of a turnoff, like what more in the romance department, right?
Yeah.
But I personally feel like it's going to be a good, for me especially, like my personality is a good filter.
A lot of men actually are sensitive.
Yeah.
And they can't take it from a woman when, like, we tell them the truth.
Yeah. Or when you act like them.
Yeah. Maybe.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. It's very interesting being would you consider yourself a more masculine, like?
I am masculine, but like when I'm with my husband, I go into my feminine and I want to be taken care of.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
I have so much I want to like unpack from that.
Yeah.
But me being a woman that is very masculine, not in terms of physique, but more so in terms of like demeanor, I find it very interesting how much shit I can get for that from people in real life. Like I've had people like say comments to me to my face, or especially on social media, and I find it interesting because all I'm doing is just imitating men that I see online.
Yeah. No, I know. No, I think that if we go all out masculine, I don't know if it's...
If we started acting like these men, like most of these men...
I don't think it would be acceptable.
If I start manspreading...
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
No, but tell me about, like, this whole... like, because you say you're a very masculine person, but when you're with your husband, it brings out the feminine in you.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
And I like that. I don't know. I like being taken care of. That's like the easiest way to say it. I think at work, I know exactly what I want. In my professional life, I am a go-getter, ambitious. But then when I'm at home, I'm kind of like, I let that go and I lean on him because maybe I'm tired and I just want him to tell me what to do and you know, and it's okay not to think, like to take that mental load off.
Right.
So I just like lean on him. Yeah.
I guess I've just always questioned, why is it that certain traits, this is so meta, but it's like, why are certain traits labeled, like who determines that it's masculine or if it's like, you know, feminine, right? Like, I mean, for example, I don't know, like being aggressive is like associated.
It's like years and years and years. It's not just, I would say, society over hundreds of years.
I guess.
Do you know what I mean?
I guess.
And like how society has set it up for us to respond in a certain way. So they say women are collaborative, women are emotional, but we have to be that way because society has set us up to be that way.
Right,
so
right,
therefore
right.
that defines us. You know?
Right. No, yeah, because, no, I don't know. I have very close to zero reference for this topic, to be honest, is because it's not that I've never dated before, but the last time that I dated was like 5 years ago.
Like dated atau serious relationship?
Serious relationship.
Okay, serious
and
relationship.
then the last time that I was seeing a guy and then completely broke my heart afterwards, it was not fun. That was like, what, I want to say 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like 2 years ago. And it's been a while. Added on top of that, I grew up with a single mom.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, so I've never met my dad, and she's never brought anybody home.
Oh wow.
So like dead ass, like I just have almost zero reference to what, I guess like, to men.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get what I mean.
I know what you mean. Yeah. Like what is the
Like so much,
framework?
Yeah.
Or what is like?
yeah, like so much of this is foreign. Yeah, and even the topic of like, you know, you're telling me I should find somebody older.
Yeah.
Tying to today's topic.
Yeah.
I'm so afraid of the idea of you and Gira setting me up with somebody that is like 35. I'm turning 28.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
So like somebody 35, it's like
7 years, 6 to 7 years older.
yeah. And
I don't find that intimidating.
but do you consider, okay, what's like a big age gap? Like what?
A big age gap
Yeah,
is like
how many?
15 to 20 years.
Girl, that's crazy.
Is that?
Because a big age gap for me is 5.
Okay, so I feel like it's because of how you mentioned how you were raised. My parents are 14 years apart.
That is, apparently Beyonce and Jay-Z are 12 years apart.
See? So it's like normal. And how about Celine Dion and her husband? That was like,
Girl, I forgot. Oh, rest in peace, Celine Dion's husband.
yeah, but that was
Wait,
like,
how?
that was like, they're like 20 years or something.
That is crazy.
Yeah, but that happens. I mean, I don't think that's the norm, but I feel like as women age, that's more acceptable. Like a larger age gap. Like say a 16-year-old and a 36-year-old. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah.
But then when you're saying like 36 and 56, it's not, I mean, you can wrap your head around that.
Right. But it's like, you know, one of the questions when it comes to talking about large age gaps, and I think you and your husband have a large age gap.
Kind of. We have an age gap. We have 5 years.
Oh, okay.
That's
But
okay.
in my definition, that's a large age gap. In your definition, that's not.
No.
Okay.
Because when I talk to him and I hang out with him, other people also think we're the same age.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, because, I mean, you know, the saying age is just a number.
Yeah.
And I like to be careful with that saying because that saying is often used by people that want to justify certain, you know, certain things.
Right.
But I do agree that past a certain age does just become a number. Like, as long as you pass, like, I feel like as long as your prefrontal cortex is developed.
Yeah.
But you were 23 when you got married.
I was 23, yeah. I was 23.
Your frontal lobe wasn't even cooked.
I know. I had just graduated college. But, okay, so let me give you context. Like, my background is I'm Indonesian Arab.
Yeah.
So that has some cultural expectations. I remember when I was growing up, I was 18, 19. My parents were already introducing me to potential suitors, right? 18, 19. I remember, like, telling my mom I was so overwhelmed. It was frightening, you know, to choose a spouse so young.
So young, yeah.
And I was like, I can't, I don't want to. And then 23 in our community was a little bit late, or at the time just right. But I remember my dad was like, hey, listen. And my dad and my mom would say this, right? It wasn't because just my dad would say it, but he would like say, hey, if you go on a couple more years, we're going to have to put you in the closet because you're going to be an antique, you know?
What the hell? And you were 20. How old were you?
I was like 21, 22.
That is actually crazy.
Right? So like, I think that's so funny. But my parents are straight up, like, they are super direct.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like, I wasn't raised in like the woke culture where like everything is, you know, they would just tell me, you know, hey, you need to go to the gym, you need to work out, you need to do this, you need to look good, or like what kind of husband are you going to find? Like, you need to present yourself. And so that's what I was raised with. So that became my norm.
Yeah, because this is something that I mentioned in the episode with Kizzy, because I filmed with her about breastfeeding and postpartum depression. And I mentioned this. But you don't speak Indonesian with your parents, I'm assuming.
I mean, yeah, campur lah gado-gado.
Campur?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because how old were you when people started referring to you as dewasa?
Oh, like high school? Yeah, high school, early college.
Yeah. Because for me, by the time I hit, like, I want to say around somewhere between 13 and 15.
Yeah.
I was already getting called and referred to as a dewasa.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I asked that of my guy friends. That's
No,
right. They become dewasa once they get married.
I know. That's the thing. There are so many like man-childs out there, right?
Duh.
Like I feel like when they're 30s, 35s, they still have the habits of, you know, teenage kids. And so I feel like, we do have a lot of expectations as women.
Yeah. I was wondering if part of the decision to get married at age 23 was also because you felt the pressure of everybody reminding you of your biological clock.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah. Like, not the biological clock per se, but just my age. You know, like, okay, you've graduated college, you've gotten like a couple of 6 months of work experience. Like, what else are you waiting for?
Right.
Like, if I said, oh, well, I'm waiting to be like financially independent. Well, you know, you're going to have your husband for that. So like, don't worry about that. And I want to tell you, like, as soon as I got married, I wasn't a stay-at-home mom because I didn't have any kids. I was a stay-at-home wife. Yeah. Like,
how long?
Like 2 years, like a year and a half, 2 years, yeah. Because I didn't have a vision for myself. I just was like, okay, I'm going to have my husband and I'm going to help him reach his goals. So that has changed. I've been married now for like 15 years.
God dang.
Right? I've been married for 15 years. I have 3 children, and that's changed. And my husband is super progressive, and he is like, we're all about like gender equality in our household, right? Like, so we're true partners, and thank God for that. Like, I didn't know, because the man I married today, and I'm married to, was totally different back then, and so was I. Because, I mean, we were so young. We've changed, right?
You mentioned to me you did life backwards.
I did life backwards.
Yeah.
So I got married, was a stay-at-home wife, like doing nothing while my
Pilates
my life revolved around my husband. So I like dropped him off at work, picked him up, like did hot yoga, like that kind of life, you know?
Looking back, how do you feel about that? Do you regret it?
I don't. I was so carefree. It was so good. Because
you know what? If you were promoting that on social media today, you would be called like that. If you were promoting being a the whole thing, I'm a stay-at-home wife. My whole life revolves around
my husband.
Yeah, my husband. And I want to, you know, like serve my husband and be a good wife for my husband. You promote that online today. This happened to an influencer that I follow just very recently. She's based in the United States. Yeah. She got canceled for being a misogynist and a pick-me girl.
Oh my God.
That's also like the whole Nara Smith thing. I don't know if you know Nara Smith.
The Tradwives.
The Tradwife, bread.
Yeah, the Tradwives. Yeah, I was a Tradwife. Like, I learned how to cook, and I was like I had a great kitchen and everything like that.
How much of that was internalized misogyny?
You know, I don't know. Maybe it was, because I remember right before I got married, and if you guys know me, I'm very far from that now. I have invested in my career and so forth. But at that time, I did feel like my life was going to be at home. I was going to take care of my husband and my kids. Like, there was nothing else actually for me. That at that time.
Because that's all your parents and everybody around you told you, huh?
Yeah, and I think that was like a huge milestone for me to grab this guy or like get married to this guy, right? It was a huge milestone for me. So whatever else happened after didn't really matter. Yeah. So, but thankfully I married a really great guy who really pushed me, and he was like, you can't stay at home all day. Like, what are you going to do? Like, we have bills to pay. Like, we need to do a joint savings account. Like, we're going to have kids. Like, you need to learn, you need to do something. And so that's when I started to find like my way. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, getting married at age 23, I mean, I'm sure you weren't like entirely forced into it at age 23. Like, that was also something that you willingly chose, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But 23 is so young. I'm just wondering, at age 23 went through your head that you were like, yeah, sure, I can get married?
Yeah. I really simplified the process, to be honest. Like, I talk to a lot of my friends these days that are single or haven't gotten married. It just seems like their checklists they have like a huge checklist of what they want their spouse to be or like how they envision their partnership to be. I felt like I didn't have that at all. I talked to my dad about it. I talked to my parents about it. Like, what is truly important? Family, education, religion, lifestyle, communication, right? So buckets. I also had to be attracted to him, right? So yeah. But I really simplified it. I was like, you know what? He's really smart. I really respect him. His family's great. Like, his family's, his mom was a career woman as well. So I think that if I ever wanted to jump back into a career, she'd support me.
Okay.
So, and then we had our faiths were the same. He was really kind-hearted. So it was very simple. Like, we did have conversations about, how we want to raise our family, but very minimal. I think it wasn't like deep and in depth. And about financials, I was just like, hey, do you have any debt? And he's like, yeah, I have some school loans. And I was like, okay, can you pay that off before we get married? And he's like, okay, sure. But we didn't talk about like how much we're going to.
His net worth.
Yeah, I didn't talk about his salary, like how he's going to support me. I just kind of was like, we'll figure it out,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Even though a lot of people, I mean, I'm sure, because like, this type of discourse is so hot on social media all the time, where it's like these days, if we're being realistic with the current modern economic conditions, especially, it's not enough anymore. Some people would make that argument that it's not enough anymore these days for you to just be like, we can figure it out as we go along. So I guess it's like, what's your...
in hindsight,
you took a gamble, girl.
Oh, absolutely, I did, and thankfully, I am all good. We're all good.
Yeah.
I did take a gamble. It was like a lottery, and you never know.
Yeah.
But looking back, when you're choosing a spouse, you need to choose a partner, and a partner, it's like, how do I say it? It's like stocks. Like, you're a stock and your partner is a stock. You want to increase the value of your stock as much as possible so that you can get paired with the highest stock as much as possible. Do you know what I mean? And
which means I got to raise my valuation first before. Which just means, back again to what we were saying off camera just now, if you are a broke-ass motherfucker, whether you are a man or a woman, do not date.
Yeah. Why?
Yeah. And you know what? Someone argued with me about this. They were like, dating doesn't always have to be expensive. I'm not just talking financials. I'm talking about when you are dating somebody, inevitably what's going to happen is that it's going to take up headspace.
Yeah.
You are inevitably going to be sidetracked.
Yeah.
You're not going to be entirely focused on your career, on paying the bills,
Yeah.
on whatever it is that you need to tend to for yourself to get yourself straight. You can't afford that.
Yeah.
When you were broke.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, don't date when you're broke. Focus on yourself first. Focus on your financial stability, and then you go and find somebody. Because you attract someone. Would you say you attract people at your level, like socioeconomically?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
unless you're very strategic about it and you know how to date
and
up.
not a lot of people know how to do that, though.
Date up, which I always recommend too.
Dating up?
Yeah.
Controversial. I
do.
like it.
Yeah, why not?
Well,
Your partnership, whoever you marry, is going to determine like your future investment, your future earnings, right?
but what if the man dates up, marries up? That's the controversial part. Because a lot of these men these days, and look, regardless of whether I agree or disagree, but that they're saying it, and it logically it makes sense. Why is it okay for women to marry up, but not for men to marry up?
I think it's okay for men to marry up. I think, if you can leverage whatever resources or like assets that you have to marry up, because the thing is like you do need some assets that is valued by your partner. Right? It's about value, right? Like maybe in our eyes the man is marrying up, but then we know like, okay, the girl is probably like toxic or whatever. I don't know. You know what I mean? So like it really depends on the lens we're looking at who is actually marrying up.
I
the
guess
economics of the relationship.
I guess in which category you are marrying up technically.
Yeah.
But I mean, usually, state the obvious, people usually talk about finances.
Right. Finances.
Yeah. I guess, what I keep hearing is that with women, when the man doesn't provide, and actually provision, would you agree? Provision isn't just financial provision, right?
Yeah.
But when a man is not able to provide, and financials being a part of it, but not the sole thing, women don't respect their men. Do you think it works the other way around? So if I'm like a broke ass bitch, I got nothing going for me, like would my man still respect me?
I don't know. I think it really depends on the guy of like how he defines a great partner. Because sometimes I tell my husband that all the time. I'm like, babe, how about if I didn't have a job, I just like hang out? And he's like, but would you be like super hot and like cook with me, and like cook every night? And I'm like, yeah, I'd do that. And he's like, yeah, that's okay. Like, would you be, like fit and like have like this supermodel body? And because like that's, instead of working, maybe I could go to the Pilates studio much more often and like have A to Z great rack, like, everything. Right? So it really depends. And some guys value that, differently.
I guess it's just value compatibility, right? Dating and marriage is not a one size fits all.
It's not.
Yeah.
Especially if you marry young. I've had a lot of friends who've married young who ended up divorced because they're
married too young.
Yeah, they married too young, and their value system changes. They no longer value like this, this beautiful girl that can't give an intellectual conversation, or the man cannot grow with the woman who has more ambition. So I feel like those value proposition also changes, right? And the dynamics and the definition of what a partner is in your life stage will definitely change.
Right. But I don't think whether you get married young or old, like that doesn't reduce or increase the chances of value of your values growing apart, right? Because that can happen at any stage in life, wouldn't you say?
It can, but I feel like when you're older, your values are set in stone and not evolving as quickly.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like yourself, you're much more self-aware.
Right.
You kind of have built your vision. When you're 23, 24, you have no idea what your vision is going to be for your life. There's so many changes that can happen.
Then by that token, if everybody's the general consensus is that we get married to people based off of values, right? And so it's like by that token, then wouldn't it be better for people to encourage others to get married at a later age versus getting married younger? And yet in reality, that's like the complete opposite, especially here still.
Unless your values are set in stone by your family, and I feel like. Okay, like there is no way your values are going to change.
Going to shift.
Yeah,
that's impossible to gauge.
Yeah, it is definitely. Yeah. I mean, I have become much more conservative as I've grown older.
That's in general. You know what? Believe it or not, same here.
Right.
Same here. I think that just happens to everybody with age because you just realize the world.
We know what we don't know now.
Yeah. We know. Yeah, we know what we didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but speaking of what you didn't know, risks and responsibilities of getting married, was that even something that you considered when you were
no. I mean, marriage is hard. You need to put effort into your relationship and you need to nurture it.
Right.
I mean, in the first few years it came effortless. We wanted to hang out all the time, and then things happen. We have kids, our careers progress in different ways, like those become challenges. And how do you still invest in your relationship? It's hard, and I didn't know, and I feel like a lot of people wouldn't get married if they knew how hard it would be.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Was it just hard because of the financial aspect, though?
Yeah, it's hard because of the financial aspect. It's hard because of the time that we need to commit to each other. It's hard because sometimes we're at different life stages, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Where were you financially at 23?
I didn't have anything. I had like, I had saved up, I remember like, funny story, I had saved up like $30K from like interning and like my first job. And when we did taxes together, because we were living in the States, he's like, you've never paid taxes before. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that was a thing. And so he's like, you need to pay taxes. And so that was like one of the first joint financial things that we did. And so
that is so dangerous. Because something that is also surprisingly still a controversial topic to talk about online, but just the idea of women having their own financial security that is separate from their husbands. Because I keep saying this, you as a woman cannot have whether or not you and your children eat tomorrow be dependent on whether or not that man still loves you. You cannot depend on that.
No.
So as a woman, you need to have your own money, just period, but especially before getting married. You didn't do that.
I didn't do that. I did not do that.
Yeah. And again, back again to how like you took on a gamble, because the alternative for a lot of women is that a lot of men abuse that. Like a woman's financial destitution.
As like power over them.
Leverage.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen that happen. And that's the thing. Like when we're young, we always think that this guy is going to see us and, do the best for us. But it's not necessarily the case.
Yeah.
And then what are we left with,
Right.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just telling people, like, just because she did it and she turned out okay, don't do it, girl.
No, don't do it. I feel like it's so important to have your own asset and your own value, like your own bank account. Me and my husband don't have joint bank accounts, even though like, we still make financial decisions together. We have separate bank accounts and but we invest together because we see our vision of our future together. Yeah.
Do you have a prenup?
We do.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That I can recommend. Get
a prenup.
Get a prenup.
Yeah. But I told him that if he becomes like a billionaire, we're going to lose that prenup. And like,
he okay with that?
He's like, yeah, I have no idea. But I was like, babe, if you
become a billionaire,
which I manifest daily, I'm like, babe, I daily manifest that I'm married to a billionaire. And he's like, are you sure it's me? And I'm like, yeah, it's you.
Girl, manifest you being a billionaire. The fuck?
That's the thing, right? Like oh my God, I don't know I don't know if this is controversial, but
this is the show to be controversial. Let it out.
Let me let this out. I'm super ambitious. I know I have like mad goals, and I know that I want to be like a CEO, like, everything, accomplish all of my career milestones, right? Yes.
Period.
But if it was me or him to reach success, I would give it to him. Like I would pray for him to reach success.
Why?
Because I just want to be taken care of at the end of the day sometimes.
So interesting. Do you think I want to be taken care of? You said that just now.
I think secretly, like powerful women, like women out there, like privately, we want to be coddled and babied. And at least I can, okay, listen, I'm going to speak for myself. I will speak for myself. And I love just to like unpack all of my worries onto him and have that burden on him. Because I'm like, at the end of the day, why am I working so hard? Why am I striving for success? It's like for us, right? It's not like validation. It's really to take care of our kids, to take care of our future. But if he can do that and he can take care of us, like, then that's enough for me, So, yeah, and I tell him all the time, I'm like, babe, I pray that you are a billionaire. Like, I'm manifesting it so I can just chill a little bit.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and like and my career is just for me. It's not for all of the heaviness of like the mortgage or like the kids' school, because that's a lot to take on.
Right. But usually, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what my mama told me.
Yeah.
Is that when women work, we work for ourselves. That money is for us and the kids.
Yep.
Because men, you can't. Men are. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna say all men.
No, it's not all men.
But men are unreliable.
I think it really, again,
depends on the man.
Depends on the man. It really depends on the man, and I'm married to a Singaporean as well, and Singaporean, they're like very takon and everything, right?
Discipline.
Discipline.
My daddy walked out on me, so you know damn well I don't got good experience with men.
Well, yeah.
Being reliant.
Yeah, and again, that's why I think you would love
A man that takes care of me.
When you find that, though. But I feel like almost like if you do find a man like that, you're going to be kind of like, what are you doing? Like, I can do it myself. And it'll take time.
Because I'm manifesting myself becoming the billionaire girl. I've never manifested anybody else being a billionaire.
Billionaire?
No. I mean, I hope that for my girls.
Yeah.
I hope that for my girls. I hope that for my friends. But it's in terms of like, whenever I think about my man.
Yeah.
Shit, I hope I'm the billionaire.
Like, or we can do like Beyonce and Jay-Z kind of thing.
Beyonce, Jay-Z kind of thing.
Both.
Both
or
of us
who else are like,
billionaires.
or like Victoria and David Beckham kind of thing.
Because when it comes to financial requirements that I have in a man, he needs to just be able to keep up.
Keep up?
Keep up. So that entails some level of social economic prosperity. Mm-hmm. Crassly put, like, that entails that he is like, he passes the threshold of being rich.
Yeah.
But how rich? I mean, just keep up.
Just keep up with you.
Just keep up.
And you're totally fine if he surpasses you. Like, you would be fine with that, right?
That is so interesting.
If his world was bigger than you.
I really want to hear from all the girls down in the comments. I swear to God, this is so interesting. I feel like my ego would be hurt. I'm not going to lie.
Really?
I kind of compete with my men. I'm not going to lie.
You do.
My ex-boyfriend was the investment banker, girl. I was trying to get into investment banking. I was so upset when he got the job and I didn't.
Really?
I was upset. I wasn't even happy for this guy. I was like, fuck you.
You need to watch that movie Fair Play on Netflix. Have you watched it?
No.
You need to watch it. It's about two investment banker couple. The woman gets promoted and the guy couldn't handle it. You need to watch that.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yeah.
And see, it's toxic when a man can't handle it. When the girl
chemistry was so good.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's toxic when the man can't handle it. When the partner surpasses him. But it's not toxic when I am like, well, maybe it is toxic. Maybe I am.
My husband's always like, babe, I'm rooting for you. When I tell him I'm, manifesting him, he's always like, babe, I want you so I can like be a stay-at-home dad. I'm like, no, babe, I'm not into that. Like, I'm not into a stay-at-home dad, not doing anything. Like, if we are both financially secure, then we can both just chill on our yacht and whatever.
But you've done being a stay-at-home mom.
I have, yeah.
Did you like it?
For that time, for like 2-year period is enough, but not forever. Like, you do, you become kind of, I don't know, for me, knowing how sharp your brain can be, you can't become kind of dull if you don't push yourself. Because, like, in a career, someone's always driving you,
Yeah.
But then you kind of like have a slower pace. You're not really in tune with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Me and Kizzy, we were talking about this because Kizzy's a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Like full-time.
And then?
Stay-at-home mom. And she was making the argument, and a lot of moms make this argument. It's harder than corporate.
Oh, physically harder. Absolutely.
Really? Tell me all about that.
Oh yeah, it's like manual labor. Like carrying.
Were you breastfeeding?
I was breastfeeding. Yeah, 2 years. Mm-hmm.
I did the episode with Kizzy, so I know that was rough.
It is rough. It's so rough. You wake up. It's like a part-time job, So, being at home with your family, that's different, right? Like, when I was a stay-at-home, I didn't have a family. So, being a stay-at-home wife, there's no vision. No responsibility, no vision. You're kind of just taking it short-term, day by day. Like, at least for me.
Okay.
But being a stay-at-home mom, you are a supporting character. You don't have main character energy anymore. You're a supporting character. Your ego needs to be in check. You need to know. You need to have so much initiative about all of the domestic responsibilities. It's not just about your kids. It's about your household.
Right.
Making sure your fridge is stocked. Yeah. And when you're in your early 20s, like, you don't know. How do you know what to do?
Yeah. That's why.
You don't know.
Is it so? In hindsight, would you? Because I'm wondering. I understand that relationships and marriages, everybody's on their own path. Everybody's got their own timeline and rates of character development and maturity and all that type of stuff. So it's really hard to universalize this, right?
Yeah.
But I keep thinking, and this is one of the big debate topics that I wanted to have today was about if there was a way to sort of like universally standardize some things, because not everything is completely abstract. I was thinking about like the age requirement to get married, minimum being 19 for both men and women, at least here in Indonesia.
19 legally, yeah, I think it's fine. But I don't recommend it.
Okay. I'm in favor of pushing it to 21.
21.
Yeah, if it were me, ideally.
But I almost feel like 19 for women, okay. 19 for men, no.
Really?
Right.
I was thinking that.
Opposite?
Not opposite, but more so because 19 to me screams child marriage. It is, girl, it is borderline child marriage.
Yes.
You cannot convince me otherwise. Why would you get, unless you got knocked up, and that I understand. I have a friend that had that happen to her. But yeah, like, you know, otherwise, getting married at 19, no 19-year-old, correct me if I'm wrong, no 19-year-old thinks that on their own volition.
That they want to get married?
Yeah.
See, the thing is that happens in my family.
Okay. How old are you?
Right now,
Yeah.
I'm 39.
That means you're born
86.
86, 97.
Totally different.
Totally different times.
Yeah. And it happened in my family. Like, my cousins who are like, they are power women now. They both got married at 19. Then they did their bachelor's degree. Then they had kids and everything like that. So, yeah. But again, context, Arab, Indonesian. So a little bit more conservative.
Right.
But yeah, I've seen it happen.
You're validating this, and a lot of people do validate this
Yeah.
under the guise of like, yeah, but that's just a culture, and that's just a cultural norm.
Yeah.
And a lot of people make arguments like, oh, well, yeah, it's a cultural norm, and so you should respect that. But it'll be fun if you and I could debate this.
Yeah.
If you disagree with me, go
Yeah,
ahead.
sure.
I don't think that is valid enough of an excuse, and I don't think that every single cultural norm should be respected. And I don't think that cultural norms that perpetuate child marriage, underage marriages, cultures that normalize underage/child marriages should be respected.
But okay, I don't think we can control that.
Yeah.
I am not recommending 19. Like, I have 3 daughters now.
How old?
I have 13, I have 9, and then a year old.
Right.
Yeah. No, I would not ever let them. 19-year-old? No. They need to be able to have their own money.
Yeah.
Have their own vision. And have their own opinions. Like, 19-year-old, you can be so molded.
Yeah.
So I agree on that. But in terms of legal, I feel like 19, okay, it's safe. Like, they are technically an adult.
Yes.
They have the responsibility and the expectation in modern society to make decisions. Not necessarily that they will. Yeah.
This is such a this has been itching at the back of my brain.
Okay,
I
what
really
is
want
it?
to ask this, and I will say, pardon me if this sounds very, very crass, but there's really no other way of me putting it. Because whenever I think about the topic of getting married very early,
Yeah.
Nikah muda, kawin muda,
Yeah.
right? Whenever I think of that, there's a topic that lingers at the back of my mind, and it is grooming.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I guess my question is, and I don't want to seem rude. I'm not saying that you were groomed.
Yeah.
I'm asking if you've ever, in hindsight, in retrospect, you wonder, was I being groomed? Because you were so young and you were so impressionable and you were so easily molded. Yeah. Like, how much of that?
It exists. Yeah, absolutely. Especially because I feel like a lot of men say that they're 19, 20 or even older, that they don't have much success attaining like their own peers.
Right.
They go for people or younger women. Yeah.
Oh, this is the other thing that's itching at the back of my brain. I hope your husband does not hate me for this.
What?
I have a red flag for me
Yeah.
that I screen in men. I ask them for their dating history in terms of age.
Oh, okay.
Are they consistently going after younger women? Because if they are consistently going after younger women and in large age gaps, and I understand large, that is a subjective term. For you, it's what, 15? For me, it's 5.
Yeah.
Right? But if it's consistently, I want to say like it averages 7 years, that raises a red flag for me. I'm wondering, like, so was your husband like...
I mean, he was 28 and I was 23, so 5 years.
Was he? But before you, was he consistently dating like younger?
I don't even know. We didn't like talk about that. Like, I
never asked
I never asked
until now.
I never asked until now. Like, I know that he was talking to girls, but I never asked their age, like what they did. Again, like I didn't have very in-depth conversation. I want to also outlier. You know, I am not outlier. I met him, like, have you watched Love is Blind?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were like Love is Blind.
The Arab way.
The Arab way. So,
Oh, God, girl.
so he was living in the States and we were both like in the States, right? So
Same state?
no, I was on the East Coast. He was on the West Coast. And we were talking online. There was no WhatsApp. We were on like Skype and we had never met. But I was like, hey, like if we like each other, when we meet, what's going to happen? He's like, I'm going to propose to you.
That is so fucking dangerous, Samira. That is so dangerous. Because I know damn well that your daughter who's doing that, you'd be raising eyebrows.
I would be like, she doesn't have access to social media. Mm-hmm. But anyways, that happened in like May, June. We met in August. We were married in December. So
That's like 3 months?
Yeah, and we had spent maybe like 2 weeks together offline. And so, again, a gamble. It was a lottery. Like, thank God. Like, God loves me and made, he's the biggest blessing of my life. But I'm not recommending it. And I feel like there are tools in your toolkit that you can learn from Indah here about how to assess responsibly if you are in your 20s.
And you want to get married. And you're thinking about getting married young.
Yeah, if you want to get married young, there are tools that you can assess the values, like what are the questions that you should ask. Don't be afraid to do that.
I really recommend you guys ask the one about, so the especially like women that are dating straight men, the age profiles of like their previous partners. I really recommend that.
Yeah.
Because, look, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's a red flag. Like, why are you consistently going after girls that are, in my definition, significantly large age gaps than you? I think that raises a red flag.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go home and ask your husband now?
I'm probably gonna ask. But I feel like sometimes I want to be like, okay, you know what? Keep it simple. Think about like the foundational building blocks. You know, like his family. You know, like his background. You know, like religion. Like what's his spirituality routine. But then I also want you to challenge and have those hard conversations because arguments are actually very healthy for a relationship, and that's how you kind of can communicate and like really test out your relationship, you know? Because I would say like the guy you marry is not the guy who's going to be, you know, your spouse in 15 years. There's going to be so many evolution of this person.
Yeah, you mentioned like your husband had a glow up after he.
Yeah.
See, okay, I feel like men, not always, of course, it's like this is just a generalization, but in general, I feel like men glow up after getting married, but women
don't. Are you saying that?
Yeah, don't.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I think I look better after. But I also feel like it's the individual. And I have seen a lot of my friends, they don't take care of themselves, and it's because of the men as well. They don't want the men is like they're like don't go to the gym, don't do this, and then they let themselves go. And also I feel like sometimes they're not happy in their marriage, and you can see that. Like when you are, when I walked in here, I was like, Indah, you look glowy. Like you are happy. Usually you
antidepressants.
You can see that.
It's not men, it's antidepressants.
But you can see that, right?
Yeah.
And I feel, but yeah, my husband had a glow up. And I always tell him, babe, like if you presented yourself now for all the girls that rejected you, like it would be totally different because of my touch and like, you know, my styling and everything.
Right.
Yeah. But I actually had this conversation yesterday with him. I was like, if we went into a room, you know, like a restaurant and I saw you, like I would still be 100% into you. Like I totally find you attractive. Like I asked him, I was like, would you be the same with me? And he's like, yeah, absolutely. Like unless you wear this. And I'm like, okay, I roll, but all right. But for the most part, he was like, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we find each other attractive. But we have molded each other. That's the benefit of marrying young, though, Indah. We can mold each other, and we're on this startup marriage, you know? So we build it together.
Right.
Yeah.
But were you ever cognizant of like, because he's so much older that, you know, because picture this, when it's two individuals that are of the exact same age.
Yeah.
So if it's me at 23 years old getting married to my husband, who's also 23 years old, when we're molding each other, there's not that large power imbalance, right? Whereas when it's like 28-year-old with a 23-year-old,
Yeah.
there's like a huge power. Well, did you ever feel like there was a large
I never
power
felt like there
imbalance?
was a power imbalance. Actually, if I have more power in the relationship, there were times as well when I had more power.
Ooh,
Yeah.
such as?
Such as like when we came back to Indonesia, we were living in the States, we came back to Indonesia, and I had figured out my career and he didn't. He was like still figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I could sense like his insecurities or like his confidence had decreased, but I was like a go-getter. It actually frazzled our marriage a little bit until we kind of realigned. And so when that's actually when a marriage becomes very fragile, when there is unequal terrain.
But most marriages normalize unequal terrain when it's women in the lower position and men in the higher position.
Yeah.
But that doesn't rock the boat.
Well, I also feel like men's egos are so sensitive.
True
That's what I
that.
feel.
True that.
Yeah.
Well, but then the solution
And
isn't for
that-
women. But the solution isn't then for women to just constantly always have to like step down and
Yeah.
like, you know, shrink ourselves
No.
just to let these men feel like they're men.
No. But don't go for those men. Like
Stay away.
stay away. Don't go for those men.
Right.
But yeah, an ego, a men's ego when it comes to financials, when it comes to our relationship outside the home, it's very fragile.
What do you think of modern feminism today that is trying to encourage young men to break out of that paradigm of associating masculinity with financial provision capabilities? Do you think that that is something that is feasible, or whether it's something that is biologically ingrained? Because I've heard both sides of the argument.
I don't think it's biologically ingrained at all.
Okay.
So instead, I feel like it's not even a societal thing. I feel like it's a domestic, like your nuclear beliefs almost.
Okay.
So it's like the individual. Like for me,
Yeah.
I do believe that a man has to provide financially.
How much of that is because you're Muslim?
I don't think it's because of Muslim. I think it's because of just how I was raised. Because in Islam, actually,
Yeah.
the Prophet's wife was a
Yeah.
boss lady.
She was a baller.
She was a baller boss lady.
Yeah.
She was older as well,
Yeah.
right? And so I look to her as like one of my role models, obviously, like as all women should, all Muslim women should, or non.
What's her name? Aisha? No, Aisha's the younger one.
Khadija.
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 Yeah, the first one, right?
Yeah, the first one. She was like very wealthy, and she employed the Prophet,
Yeah.
right? So I don't think it's Muslim. I think actually it's I think it's Southeast Asia. I think it's Asian.
Okay.
Eastern values.
Yeah.
And so for me, and also maybe let's strip away the values. Maybe it's just personal preference.
Perhaps.
Again, I want to be taken care of. Like I'm a baby. I'm a spoiled little baby that wants to be taken
Right.
care of. Maybe how I was raised.
I don't think I've ever envisioned, I daydream about like my life being with a man that I love and respect.
Yeah.
I don't envision the part where he takes care of me, and I'm not sure if it's because that's not something that is true to my character and personality, or if it's just because I don't feel like I even deserve it.
You've never seen it and you've never felt it maybe. But like it's like a warm embrace, and it's just like when you can feel so light and like breathe.
I also just
So,
don't.
you know.
Yeah, I guess I've never experienced it. I mean, for context, my ex-boyfriends. Wait, was your husband your first? No, right?
Yeah.
Wait, boyfriend?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he was your first.
Yeah, like
Dang.
like real relationship.
Yeah.
And I mean if you can call it that, because the engagement was so
Okay.
short.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, because I've dated like serious relationship.
Yeah.
I've dated like 3 guys, but they're all. The first 2 are 1 year younger than me.
Okay.
First 2 are.
No, let's get Indah an older man. Come on.
She was-
Applications open. DM me, not her. DM me.
Her
okay.
or Gita
Or
sees.
Gita. Yeah, or Gita sees. We are filtering. We are the filter.
Oh my
okay.
gosh.
And I already know. And you're not gonna like it in the beginning. You're not gonna like it.
Why would you like it or like him?
Both. You're not gonna
God.
like the process. You're gonna be like, you're not even gonna give them a chance, but you need to. You need to like open yourself up.
Is
You're
that
not-
how you felt when your parents set you up?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I did not like it at all.
It worked out well.
It worked out well, yeah. Well, yeah, it worked out well.
The first 2
Younger?
1 year younger, and then my last one, same age.
So like how do you find respect for them?
Oh, that's it.
Do you know?
That's an interesting.
Do you know what I mean? Like, what about them can
Character.
character?
I liked that. What I like in men. Wow.
That's so wise. Oh my God.
Character. Yeah, I like their character.
That's so wise.
I like the fact that they were kind and God, the bar. This sounds like the bar is so low, but I mean, character. I like that they were kind
says a
and
lot
that they
about
were
you.
hardworking and that they had their own merit.
Yeah.
Especially with my last ex-boyfriend because he came from a wealthy family as well.
Yeah.
But the fact that and so do I. But it's like I respect people that come from wealthy families but know how to work for their own and stand
Yeah.
on their own versus just relying on mommy's money or daddy's money
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
everything. And my last ex-boyfriend, like he had that down pat.
Right.
Of just being able to like, and they had their own ambitions. That too, they're ambitious.
Ambition.
And I like the first two. I don't know why I like doctors because they were medical.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I like, and they're smart. Mm-hmm. Another big
Their
thing,
intelligence.
too, their intelligence, and they could always keep up with me. Mm-hmm. That.
Because I feel like having someone younger is almost a more dangerous bet.
But
too.
because, the two first ex-boyfriends that were 1 year younger than me, one was in high school and the other one was in like the early years of college. Mm-hmm. So I would also argue that when you're that young, you don't think that far ahead, I guess. Or it's like it's neutralized because I feel like with me, the reason why in my head, when I think of like the maximum age gap that I could go for is 4 years, is because it's modeled off of school. Right? 4 years of middle school, 4 years of high school. Right? And so you're thinking like, I guess like in my worldview at that time, it's like 1 year younger is only one grade lower, and that's not that far in curriculum.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
Curriculum.
Yeah, because like for me, if I looked to someone like my age, we'd be equals, right? And so...
But you want somebody more.
I want someone more so that I could respect more. Like,
wait, then why did you respect your husband?
He was very smart. He's much smarter.
Okay, intelligence.
So intelligence, right? But kindness, I guess, but kindness, he's so polite and kind to everything. He's like the guy who's going to stroll with the grandma,
Yeah. Gentleman.
But I think intelligence is a huge one. And it's like such a potential to become great, right?
Right. Because that was something you mentioned, is that how these days you notice that a lot of women especially, they want a partner that is udah matang, udah jadi, right? But really, and this is where I agree with you, is that, I get it. Like, times have changed. Like, we could argue in between those lines, but like, character is probably the most important thing at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Because if he's rich because his daddy's rich, but he has an overindulgent personality, that money's probably not going to last.
Absolutely, 100%. Like,
for example,
my husband always says, like, when we look for husbands for our daughters, we need to look at character, because at the end of the day,
are you thinking about matchmaking them?
I don't know. I definitely want to be involved.
That's if they let you be involved.
That's if they let me. But my daughter's always like, Mommy, how about if like I meet this guy and he's great, but like you like him? And I'm like, well, I would hope that we're early in the process that I could see, to influence you not to be with him. Because I feel like, I don't know, family harmony is very important.
If your daughter at age 23 came back with a man that was 35, would you be okay with that?
That's like 12 years. If I would not judge the man, I would judge her. Like, is she mature enough?
Do you know what you're getting yourself into?
Yeah, like, is she mature enough? Like, are you ready? I mean, he's 35. He probably wants to have kids right away. Like, do you want to do that? Like, she needs to understand all the implications of committing to someone middle age, because 35 is middle age, right? And
it is, yes.
Yeah, so she would need to. So I wouldn't be judging the man. And also, I would probably only have one question for the man, like, why are you interested in my daughter? Because at 35, like, what excites you about someone so young? So I would want to understand that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't probably say like no, especially if he's like very understanding and he's met all the and he's also 35 is easier to judge than a 22-year-old in my opinion because he's had much more time on the runway. So you can see what has he accomplished by 35.
Right.
He's better accomplish something, right?
At 35.
Yeah.
You better.
Right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Don't let him be a bum.
No.
No. No.
That's not happening.
Yeah, because if I think about my daughter bringing back, my 23-year-old daughter bringing back a middle-aged man, alarms would be ringing.
Right?
Alarms would be ringing.
Yeah.
And funny enough, I would do the opposite. I would be screening him a lot more.
Really?
Yeah.
Due diligence him.
Due diligence. And literally the first thing is, so is this your first large age gap relationship? That
Right. Going back to that question.
Immediately, that's going to
Yeah.
be my first one because I just, this is probably obvious. I don't trust men a lot of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah. And probably we shouldn't. I always say all men are by default guilty until they're proven innocent.
That's so funny. See, I have two brothers, so I'm the only girl. And so I think that I don't know, like when I see a 35-year-old, my brother-in-laws both are in their 30s.
Yeah.
And when I see them, I still see kids. So that's also why maybe. Like I still see kids. While I see like 20 when I see you, you're much more mature than them. Probably, you know.
Wow. A 27-year-old woman is more
Yeah.
mature than a middle-aged man.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's true. Because
I mean, some, yeah.
Yeah. Panji was the one who said men below the age of 40 are children. They're boys.
Yeah. A lot of man-child out there.
I'm so fucked.
No, you're going to be hooked up by me, so it's okay.
I'm so fucked. Well, maybe
It'll be fun, though. Like, it'll be fun. Like, yeah, it'll be fun. If you're open.
right. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I have some unresolved trauma with men or something like
Really?
that. Where I'm just like, if a man is that much older and you want to date me,
Yeah.
you're probably trying to groom me. That's my immediate instinct.
But you're at an age where you
where
can make
I'm
your
not
own
groomable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can make your own decisions.
And I guess that's the sort of like that's the saving grace. I would say a woman above the age of 25, she can date as far
Yeah.
up as she because by 25 you're an adult.
Yeah.
Your prefrontal cortex. So, fun fact, your prefrontal cortex finishes developing. Your prefrontal cortex stops developing between the ages of 25 and 30.
Okay.
I think it's for both men and women.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, marriages that, start before 25 are like two times.
More likely to get a divorce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see that.
Prenup. Yeah.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. See, that's why I think like we as a society need to start getting on the same page when it comes to adopting a different social culture and social attitude surrounding marriage and dating. I don't know, but marriage for sure. Because I feel like the norm here is still like by 23. I think now in Jakarta, the norm is like 23, 24. You start thinking about getting married.
Yeah.
When I'm over here, like, I feel like, I don't know, I'm 27, but I mean, don't go based off of me.
Yeah.
But I think 27 is a good age.
27 is a good age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for you to, as a woman,
Yeah. To think about it.
to start thinking about getting
Yeah.
married. And then for men, I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
But are you saying 27 because women need to figure out their career before love?
I am really adamant about you as a woman having to have your career sorted out, your financial, your source of income figured out and solidified. You need to get that shit down pat before you start getting married.
I agree. I agree with that
Yes.
because once you are married and if you have kids,
Yeah.
your mental space is then dedicated for that, right?
Right.
And you just can't. It's no longer you. Again, as I mentioned, you're no longer the main character. But then again, if you do get married and you have love before you get all that figured out, it's okay, sebenarnya. If you find the right partner that's supportive.
Right.
But it's just so much harder, actually. Like so much harder to figure it out.
Yeah.
So I do agree with you.
Right.
Now, I have a question though. Like I've had a lot of friends who go past the age of 30 and they're not married and it's just so hard for them to find someone.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Nah, I have a question about this. Like I tell them, dating is like sales. You're selling yourself, basically. You're selling, you know, you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You know, what's your brand? How do people see you? Why are some people like lazy and like they're not using every single tool, like the dating apps, or they're, you know, going out there.
Optimizing.
Yeah. Why aren't people optimizing? Because it is, when you are meeting your partner, it's not as easy when you were young, because when you were young, you had your university where there was an influx of social circles, right?
Right.
Now, when you go past a certain age, why is it that people don't want to make an effort, and they have a long list, which then minimizes the conversion even more?
I think it's that. I've talked about this with a friend of mine. God, I'm so glad I hit the age of 25. My brain just clicked, and not only that, I started having standards.
Okay.
That's the thing. Part of the reason why past the age of 25, I can't speak to the experience of men, but I'll speak to the experience of women above the age of 25 that are still single, and they find it difficult to find partners, assuming a heterosexual relationship. Yeah, it's because by 25, you start having standards. You know what you want. You know what you don't like. And you're less tolerant of bullshit compared to before the age of 25.
Oh, it gets more
sure.
so.
Yeah, it's that. And I would like to speak to the experience of, I think, particularly Gen Z women. I'm born 97. It's very, I feel like even you, I mean, he's also Gen Z, and you're a man, but I feel like we are the generation when it comes to dating. We have such an apathetic outlook. We feel so hopeless, girl.
Is it?
Ya kan?
Really?
I'm done. I'm tired of this shit.
Is it because of just like everybody wants it so instant? And it's become so transactional?
I think with Gen Zs in particular, what's interesting is that it coincided with modern feminism, sexual revolution. Where I'm headed with this, and crassly put, is that it coincided with us growing up in a time where sex is a lot more liberated, hookup culture has proliferated. I'm not making an argument whether that is good or bad, acceptable or not acceptable, but I am just saying that, and speaking from my experience, I used to be a hoe. I used to sleep around left and right. That was cool and fine and fun up until I hit 24.
Right.
And then I hit 25. And then I start being like, I guess it would be nice if a man would hold me.
Right?
But all these men just want to fuck.
Okay.
That's the thing.
How do you curate them?
How do I filter them out? Well, do not go on Tinder. I swear, girl, if you are looking for a husband, if you're looking for dick, go on Tinder. That's a good place. If you're looking for dick, that's good. But if you're looking for something serious, Bumble is very hit or miss, I will say. Bumble's like hit or miss.
How about like your friends? Like, would you trust me if I were like, do you know what I mean? Like, how about friend circles or like people you know, like, or do you primarily go online? Like, what's your online offline scenario?
You know what's very interesting right now, and because you're like investing in like the tech space and everything, this might be like pertinent information for you, but dating apps right now are experiencing a decline in popularity.
Really?
Yes, they are. Me, Gen Z, I am the generation, we grew up on dating apps, right? In a way. Like, we are the dating app generation where everybody was on Tinder, Bumble, you know, everything from hooking up to like finding husbands. And that is starting to decline in popularity because we are also the generation that is simultaneously deprived of social interaction, like real life social interaction. And it's also dating apps. I've met people that have found their one true love on dating apps. Like, it's been successful for a lot of people. I'm not invalidating that, but in large part, I feel like a lot of people in my generation and my age group, we find that it isn't productive.
It's not.
Well, because with digital media, there's only so much of a person's essence that can be captured in a digital profile. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so it's also the frustration, and especially from the men's side, like you hear the manosphere talk about this all the time, where it's like we're just getting judged based off of like how aesthetic we look on like these photos and like, you know, how curated our Tinder or Bumble profiles are. Yeah. But, you know, people, and I don't know if you've experienced this maybe with your husband or whatever, because I don't know if your parents showed you a photo of him before. Yeah? But wasn't he so much more attractive when you actually like met him in person, right?
I didn't like his photo.
Yeah. Yeah. See that? So it's like that
Yeah.
that halangan, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's that social interaction. Dating apps have just in large part not been like effective.
Yeah.
So we're all moving towards what Kizzy's doing with me.
Which
the setting up what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
To me.
Right.
So like now. And I want to hear from the listeners down in the comments if this is something you're experiencing. But in my circle now, we're actually a lot more upfront with like, hey, so I'm in the market. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I'll keep you in mind.
Right.
You know, that.
Yeah.
Like what you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I feel like for certain personalities or certain individuals, you don't want to just go mainstream.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you're right. You're so right.
Because you need to like do a little bit of due diligence about who they are, what they do.
Right. But I really just, I don't know. I don't want to. This is such a. I'm making an assumption. This is an assumption. I guess part of what. Okay, see, this is what's difficult. That I'm 28 and I am in that phase where I'm like, I want. We don't have to get married per se, but it's like you're my ride or die. Like we're long game together.
Yeah,
you know, you're my end game.
Yeah,
right. That's what I want in a man now,
right.
And I feel like men around my age don't want that yet.
Yet,
right?
That's why you go a little bit. Yeah.
What if I don't have anything in common?
You will.
He's 35.
Yeah, but you will because you are a little bit beyond your years as well. You're much more. You're well read. Yeah. You know about different sectors. You can, Look at you, who you hang out with.
That is true. I hang out with her and Gila.
Did you see that recent research where this is U.S. numbers, but as of like last year, there are more women post 40 having kids than teen pregnancies, which is like the first time it's ever been like that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That doesn't shock me because I know you're saying teen pregnancy, right?
Yeah, teen pregnancy.
So that means early Gen Z, Gen A border. That doesn't surprise me. My generation and the generation under, we are going through a gender war. I'm sure. I don't know if you keep up with that.
No, tell me about it.
The modern gender warfare that boys are becoming increasingly conservative politically. Women, girls are becoming increasingly liberal.
Oh.
So there is a huge political discrepancy. There is also just a lot of growing animosity between the two sexes, the two genders. I mean, you've probably seen with modern feminism. So modern feminism has a bad rep, and I acknowledge this as somebody who does identify as a feminist, that modern feminism can sometimes come across as misandry, where they just like, it's man-hating.
Yeah.
Right? But, you know, now there's also like the manosphere. Adolescence. Adolescence.
Adolescence.
Oh
I never watched it yet.
You haven't watched it?
No spoilers.
No spoilers, but that's something that adolescence. I've been mispronouncing it this entire time.
How is it supposed to be?
Adolescence.
Adolescence. What have you said?
I've been saying adolescence.
Adolescence?
Girl, I'm an idiot.
Adolescence.
Adolescence. But that's what adolescence touches upon.
Okay.
Where it's like, and now now there's like this growing movement of like, it's spearheaded by Andrew Tate. I don't know if you've ever heard of the guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, like very just toxic and like, you know, like 80% of women only go for like the top 20% of men, and that leaves all of these other 80% of men sort of like alone and involuntarily celibate incel.
Oh.
You know, so there's such modern gender war.
Okay.
We just hate each other.
Oh, that's interesting. I've never heard.
And so I'm not surprised that no girl in her teen years wants to fuck a man.
Yeah.
Because, I get it.
Yeah.
You should talk to your daughters about this. How do you feel about men and boys? Do you hate them? Chances are they'll say yes.
I will talk to them.
I went through my man-hating period.
How old?
Pretty much all of college.
But now, no.
I'm more reasonable now.
Have you met, your best friend's a guy?
Yeah.
So you've met good guys.
Well, I've always had male best friends. I think it's more so like I went through my blue-haired social justice warrior feminist phase.
Like college?
All throughout college. And when I say I hate men, it's more so, I think I have a lot of like bottled resentment towards the patriarchy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I mean, it's real. It's
oh,
a
yeah.
real thing.
For sure, it's real.
And we are, I mean, I can talk in industry, like there's a lot of gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And misogyny.
Yeah, it exists.
Yeah.
But there's also ways in which we can navigate over it.
Right. Instead of like succumbing to the irrational hating all men pipeline, which I went down.
Or becoming a victim to it. Like,
True.
You know what I mean? Like I think I believe in gender equality and everything. I do feel like patriarchy exists. I am very like excited to be a matriarch in my household, you know, and my family. But yeah, don't be a victim to it. Like, don't use that as an excuse for your lack of like self-promotion or like,
What's an example of women being a victim to the patriarchy?
What do you mean? Like,
No, because that's what you're saying. Like, don't be a victim to it.
yeah, what I mean is like they blame it. They blame.
Oh, this is why I can't get ahead because of the patriarchy.
Yeah,
Oh, that.
that's what I mean. Like, don't blame because, yeah, don't blame that. It's inevitable, but you can move past it. It's just one data point in your journey. Don't let it define you.
Women are also sometimes the problem when it comes to, when we talk about topics like gender equality and feminism, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because there are women that are complacent in being objectified, in being treated like a trophy wife. They are the ones putting out this narrative that, oh my God, the whole kalau bukan dua natur jangan ngatur thing.
Yeah.
That, which I think is very,
Yeah.
just no. And I think it's these types of women that unfortunately are also contributing to the problem. And I don't know whether or not that's something that they're aware of and that they're just complacent in, or if they genuinely feel that is their version of empowerment.
Right. I feel like you need to at least be a part of that conversation. And if you choose to be a trophy wife or whatever gitu, it's almost like your choice. Like, I could have this high-powering job or I can be at home and chill gitu. But you need to be cognizant and like aware of like yourself and have that conversation with your husband and make that choice. Like, what's good for you. Not that you are like, okay, I'm going to be submissive and I'm going to take what I can because this is what life has given. Right. No, like you get a deck of cards and you can change that around and, empower yourself to make that decision. Because, hey, maybe in like 10, 15 years, I'll want to be a trophy wife and I want to get my weekly Botox or whatever, right? Is it weekly or monthly? I've never gotten it.
Every 4-6 months.
Yeah. So, gitu. Kan?
Yeah.
As long as like empower yourself to actually be an active contributor in that discussion.
Be active in your relationships and not passive. That is like probably one of the number one like relationship advice that I like. Well, instructions for women, because you can't just be passive in your relationship.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of my pet peeves is when I'm talking to my friends or like my girls and I'm like, we're talking about a decision in their marriage and they're like, well, my husband wants it like this way. So ya udahlah, I'm going to do it this way. And I'm like, no, if you guys decided to do that, it is your decision that you have let him drive that.
Yeah.
You need to like own like, oh, we have discussed it together. Like, so don't just blame your husband on making that decision and like you're kind of along for the ride. No, like you are actively allowing that to happen. Therefore, you are also part of that decision, So that's like something that really annoys me actually,
Yeah, no, you're actively being complacent in your own eventual downfall if shit were to happen.
Yeah, exactly.
No, nothing's
going to happen like that though.
Nothing grinds my gears more than when women cannot think for themselves and they just like, my husband will take care of it.
Yeah.
Men are unreliable. I'm sorry, men are unreliable. Okay, and I don't know. I don't have it in me to trust a man that much. That's the thing.
Not yet. We might change that in the future when the right man comes along.
See, here's the thing. I don't know if this is controversial, and you're free to, obviously, like, if you disagree with me, that's actually fun. But I don't think that you should ever trust anybody that much.
Really?
I think the only person that I could really, really trust that much, that they 100% till the death, like, have my best interest.
Yeah.
My mom.
Yeah. Blood.
Not blood, because, like, I mean, fuck my, like, family. But, like, mom.
Mom. Yeah.
But here's this is so hard for me to say because like I don't have a dad, right? So I
Right.
don't know.
And you're an only child.
And I'm the only child. But I would say your mom is ride or die for you. Your dad might not be.
No, I mean, I think, again, it depends on the family. But
Okay.
for me, like, my trust, like, cocoon is definitely, like, my family. My parents, like, they are who I go to for everything. And, like,
Okay.
my siblings, I live next door to my brother. Yeah, so we're
Okay.
very close. But I was actually having a conversation with Geeta about this because she's going to tell you the opposite. She trusts everybody until proven they cannot be trusted.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm the complete opposite.
I am as well. I'm like, I don't trust them until they think, like, I feel like, because with age, like, I've been betrayed, backstabbed, and, you know, by friends, employees, like, everyone. So I think that it takes time to build that relationship and that bridge. But she's like, no, like, I'm going to trust everybody and I'm going to open up myself up to everybody, you know, and that's why we love her. But I feel like we're on extremes. Geeta's here, I'm in the middle, and then
Right.
you're right there.
Yeah.
But you are saying, like, I'm validating that that's actually okay.
Did you know that if hold on, I'm trying to remember the data. There's actual data on
While you
this.
remember that, I just want to say the time.
It's 2:48. You're good.
Oh, okay, we're good.
You're good.
Okay.
No, this is data. There is data on this. I'll put it up, and I'm not confident in my ability to articulate this. There's data that shows how more men divorce and leave their wives when she's sick
Oh my God.
compared to the opposite.
Really?
Yeah. Men will just get up and leave.
Yeah.
That's probably, I'm going to acknowledge that part of me saying that is probably trauma from like not having a dad growing up.
Yeah.
And I fully acknowledge that, right? So like,
Yeah.
you know, if people want to be like, you're just saying that because,
Yeah.
you know, you had a deadbeat dad. Sure.
Have you ever explored writing a book?
I am an author.
You are.
I am. I'm a published author.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Because I feel like
But I didn't talk about my dad.
I feel like it would be very therapeutic for you to really think about that, because that's probably like yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. There are more instances of deadbeat dads than there are deadbeat moms.
Because we have like that connection to them. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Last night, my daughter woke up at 3 a.m. I was the one who went to her room, you know, like, and
Why
slept
were you
with her.
up at 3 a.m.?
She couldn't sleep.
Oh, the youngest one.
Yeah, well, she's the middle one. And it was so natural for me to be the one, because we have like that bond.
Right.
You know, and so, I mean, daughters and mothers, we definitely have that bond.
Yeah. By the way, quick disclaimer about the noise playing in the background is because it was raining really hard when we were recording. So, yeah. Well, it's so much because there's that biological tie. It's harder for
Yeah.
a mother to leave the
Yeah.
child that she birthed.
Yeah.
You know, but it's so easy for men to just get up and leave. And
Yeah.
that's why even with the men that I dated, wonderful men,
Yeah.
but I don't fully trust them.
We always base our beliefs on like what we see, right?
Yeah.
And so I've seen a lot of like men in my family like really step up and be reliable, and therefore I feel like when I did get married, I almost had that assumption that all men are kind and nice, and only later did I realize, okay, no, that's not the case. You know what I mean? So your belief system of all of the data points that you've kind of accumulated through your single life will then kind of project what you want in a partner.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I almost wonder, would you say men were more chivalrous and like traditional, family value oriented during your time when you were my age?
Not necessarily, but you could definitely find those that are.
Okay.
You know? So you need to set an expectation as well. Like, not all men are going to be 100%. So you say, hey, listen, this is my expectation.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And you should do that too. Like,
Oh, no.
you do, right?
No, I do.
Yeah.
No, I do. Past the age of 25, I'm
you
like,
know what you want.
I'm like, this is what I want. This is what I need.
I am so curious to see who you end up with. Like,
That's what everybody
I am so curious.
No, because everybody's like, I want to see what man can handle you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Me too.
And that can like bring out your like cuddly soft side.
Cuddly soft side?
Because I know there is one. I feel like what's your love language?
Oh, guess.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of obvious.
No, it's not.
It's not? Okay.
Okay.
No.
So I would think that physical touch.
No.
It's not.
No, that's bottom of the list.
Really? Okay. Is it acts of service?
That's middle.
Quality time?
Number 1.
Quality time?
Quality time.
Yeah,
I like
because
to
you like and you like to go to movies.
Yes!
Right?
Yes, that's what I did with
Okay,
Gita.
so quality time and how about gifts?
Bottom.
Bottom. So gifts and physical touch, I would assume your physical touch is high actually.
Oh, I don't.
No?
I don't like. Okay, I'm very malu when I'm with my
Right? So you
boyfriend.
you are a little bit like
modest,
Yeah.
demure,
cutesy.
Yes. Shy. No, I'm very. I don't know. I feel like I have such an averse reaction to sentimentality and romance.
Yeah.
Because I almost feel like I don't really deserve it.
Yeah. No, I get you. Like I hate getting gifts. Because I feel like sometimes, like during my birthday, people give me gifts, and it will be in my cupboard for months when I don't open them. Because I love giving gifts.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like getting gifts.
I don't like the image of, like, for example, like if I have a boyfriend and
Yeah.
him like being all lovey-dovey with me in public, like PDA for
Yeah.
me is like a big no.
Yeah.
But it's, I guess, because I always felt like I don't look the part for it. I don't know if that makes sense.
That's the vision that you have of yourself.
Yeah, I guess. The vision that I have of... I'm so used to the vision of myself that is very rugged,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That's all I've ever been.
I mean, there are many versions of us, and you can choose to just show a version of you to certain people,
That is true.
right?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I haven't had that in a man in a long time.
I have a lot of. I'm gonna go back and have this homework for.
I'm doing the thing that Kizzy sent me.
Oh, yeah?
The
When is
blind
that?
date thing. That's like on April 18.
Okay.
That's literally one day after my birthday.
I know.
It's right after my
What
birthday.
are you doing for your birthday?
Nothing. I don't like celebrating my birthday either.
You don't?
I'm so lazy.
Let's do
I
something.
want to do something like very, very small. Like you be there, Gita there, Chinta,
Let's do that.
you know, but I need the money.
Well, no, we'll do something like not extravagant.
Not
Let's have
extravagant.
different dinner.
Uno.
Uno?
Let's play Uno.
Okay.
Yeah. But hold on. Criteria for young women to screen men before getting married.
So,
What should you have screened from your husband?
what should I have screened? Okay. So.
His net worth.
Yeah, I mean, we
kidding.
can't. I know, but I feel like, yes. I mean, I asked him about his debt, right? If he had
Yeah.
any debt. Okay, so attributes. I would say there's high level, and then there is high level meaning like big picture. Like, where does he see himself? What's his dreams? What's his vision? What's his values? Where was he raised? And where does he see his future? Like, big picture. And then also, like, what is his, like, day-to-day? Like, how does he treat people? Is he smart? Is he going to stimulate you in terms of like intelligence, you know, conversations? Like, do you guys see the same path moving forward? Yeah. So, but then like the big chunks, the religion, family, education, career. Like, I knew I didn't want to marry a doctor or a lawyer.
Okay.
Why? Because they are constrained by the geographic. And I know that I wanted to live like different parts of the world. And I got married to an engineer. And so, yeah, who he can definitely he can work remotely all the time because he's he does his tech stuff anywhere. He codes anywhere. So
I have my list of questions that I normally ask a guy to screen him during a date.
yeah.
It's because I'm preparing for the thing on April 18th, one that I told
Yeah.
you, the blind date thingy.
Right.
So give me a list of screening questions that I should be asking the guy.
Don't be, I would say, like, you can ask questions, but like let it flow naturally so it's not transactional. And just come in to where it's like, don't come in with expectations, because I feel like if you have expectations, they're never going to meet. They're never going to meet. So I just feel like go in, have fun, get to know what they do, and see if they ask questions about you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And how comfortable it is. Because I feel like communication that chemistry actually should come.
Right.
And communication, like how they ask, what they ask, but how is so much more important than what.
And more important how they ask it
Yeah.
than what they ask.
Yeah. Like in the beginning of
That's interesting. I disagree. I'm the complete opposite.
You think so?
I was literally going to say something about my my personality, my demeanor, and my attitude that can sometimes be a hindrance in friendships, even what more dating.
Yeah.
I come across very like direct.
Yeah.
And sometimes people have told me this. So apparently sometimes like when I'm asking questions, I come across as being interrogative.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like your second layer is so not like that.
Okay.
You know?
So I just got to like tone that down. But see, here's the thing. Like, because I am a proponent of it's more important what you ask than how you ask it. So I don't really care how the guy asks me and if he's just like being like super blunt about it.
Yeah.
But I want to like, but what are you asking? And I would actually rather that.
Right.
But I guess that's like selera, you know, like
that's true.
Different personalities.
Yeah, because you want to get into the grain of it and you want to be a little bit more transactional. Like, I don't want to waste time. But I feel like with love or with relationships or even with friendships, that can come later and you're going to miss out on people who maybe takes a while to warm up, you know?
True.
You know? So
true.
I
could
feel
always
like,
wait.
Yeah, wait. And then just see how. So it's like be warm, be friendly, like kind of.
Warm.
Friendly.
I'm friendly.
You're friendly.
I'm just not warm.
To some people. To the lucky.
Sometimes.
To the lucky.
Sometimes I'm warm.
You are intimidating. I mean, yeah. But I've loved you for a while, so.
Yeah. At least somebody loves me.
Yeah, so I think you will find out all you want to find out, but time will answer everything, so be patient. You know what I mean? Be patient and don't try to figure out within the first 5 minutes.
Any other dating advice for me since girl, it's been 5 years?
Okay. Any other dating advice? Have fun. Like, go into it like you want to get friends. Network. Don't look at it as like a business transaction.
Oh, I have something super controversial on that note.
Okay.
That you're look, I get it. You're Muslim. You come from a religious background. Yeah. You have no part in this conversation. I'm just talking to the children right now. See, but I'm excluding all of you. Listen, if you are religious, this obviously does not apply to you, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you are not religious like me and religion is not something that is important to you and in your family, have sex with him before you get married. Test out the sex. Test out the sex.
But not on the first date.
Oh,
please.
Chrissy Teigen and John Legend did that.
Okay.
I mean, don't model off of John Legend and Chrissy Teigen.
Because I do feel like, take it slow. No?
Yeah.
Because I feel like this generation, everybody wants.
My generation.
Well, I'm a millennial, proud to be. But it's like instant, right? Everybody wants like instant results, instant answers. But answers can come later and have fun in the process.
Well, but it also, and this is leading up to something that you and I were talking about when we were doing the pre-recording call, the difference between lust and love and how a lot of people, you know, kind of conflate that, right?
Yeah.
And it also coincides with how in my generation, Gen Z, is like we are the first generation of like pure sexual liberty.
Yeah.
Right? Barring of those of us that are religious. Again, if you're religious, this does not apply to you. It applies to people like me. Where hookup culture is something that is normalized and celebrated even like, see, here's the thing. I felt like there was a part of me back in college, I'm not gonna lie, I felt like I had to be a hoe.
Really?
Girl, you were in college. You know what I'm talking about.
No, I know, but what pressure from who?
Well, because I grew up in a time and in an environment, a secular environment, where if you are a virgin up to like past a certain age, and it's especially harder for men, right?
Right.
Like you know, with women, like whatever. But it was, I think it was the pressure of like the social culture of like there's a certain image of like badass bitch that gets all gets all the men that she wants. And there was something that I guess back in college in retrospect, and if I'm being really honest, I felt like I had to I wanted to live up to, not that I had to, but I wanted to live up to because it granted me a certain position in social status.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how about when you transfer that notion here in Indonesia?
Yeah, see, no, because I was in the States.
Okay. But now, how about now in
I'm 28.
No, but like in the early 20s, like is that happening here?
Oh, here?
Yeah.
That I don't know because I never went to college here.
Okay.
So I wouldn't know. But you know damn well what it's like in the States.
Yeah, I do.
mean, you have an idea.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like I went to Penn State, which is a huge party school.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's a
Were
huge...
you getting shit-faced?
I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything, but fraternities, sororities, like that was huge, right?
Yeah.
And I was with my brother there, and my brother is so strict. He's so strict.
Oh, he wasn't a frat boy.
No.
Oh, okay.
And he knew what was going on, so he was like, he kept the tight leash on me, you know. But I totally get you, and I'm wondering how it is here because it's all like underground. Yeah, underground. So I do feel like it's happening here, but it's just not communicated.
Oh, I mean, if you're talking about hookup culture as a whole, yeah.
It's here.
I was hooking up after I moved back here from living in the States.
Yeah.
I was hooking up with Indonesian men.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was hooking up with men here.
So
Indonesians are hoes.
Really?
Indonesians are very promiscuous. Here's the thing. Indonesia on paper and in image, we portray ourselves to be this like conservative, God-fearing, goody two-shoe type of society. Indonesians are fucking hoes.
Really?
Promiscuous. I'm talking like they have sex before marriage, or at least third base before marriage. I'm talking like you are getting shit-faced at some bar. You're probably doing drugs. Very illegal. I do not recommend that. You're probably, what else? I don't know. Just watching porn. We are one of the high on Pornhub.
Consumption?
Yeah, consumption. Highest
Oh my
consumption
God.
for porn.
That makes me worried. That's why I stay away from social media.
That's why you keep your kids away from social media.
Exactly.
Well, but don't do it too much that she starts to rebel against you, because I did that with my mom.
Oh, really?
Not with social media, but it's like whenever my mom brings down the iron fist, I rebel.
You rebel.
Yeah. But I'm that type of character. I don't know what your kids are like.
I have no idea. We'll see. They all seem different to me.
Oh, one's 13. You should already have an idea.
Yeah.
I was always a horrible kid at 13.
Really?
Okay, I gave my mom so much hell.
Do you guys get along now?
Better now.
Yeah.
For sure. I hated my mom growing up.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Like, just
That's interesting.
pure fucking hate.
I feel like you guys are getting closer as you age, though.
The distance when I went off for college helped.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, distance makes the heart grow fonder, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
I guess, but that doesn't work with husbands.
Did you always know that you wanted to go to the States?
Because I went to GIS. It was sort of like the default.
Okay.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Also, my mom. I actually wanted to go to Korea, and then my mom shut that down.
Really?
Yeah. Because at that time, I wanted to go. I've always been into cosmetics.
Yes.
So Korea. Mm-hmm. But my mom shut that down.
What was your undergrad major?
I was in entrepreneurship, accounting,
Okay.
business. I was a business kid. But I came in for musical theater, and then my mom made
Really?
me switch. Yeah.
Oh my God. You were a musical theater kid?
Because I did music back in high school. I was a music student.
Piano or what?
IB higher level music.
Wow.
Yeah. One out of the two students in the entire high school.
Oh, wow.
It was me and my girl, Sarah. Yeah. What about you? Wait, where are you?
Economics and psychology.
I wish I took that instead. Because economics and business are two different departments.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is more like social, macro.
I wish I did that instead. It's more relevant to what I do now.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I also do business now.
But I did economics because I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, that's like the major you go to because it's like safe.
The safe one.
Where it's like you can go into finance, you can go into business, you can go into social.
Advice for all the people thinking about getting married young now? Well, what's young for you?
Young for me is below 23. Because I got married at 23. Okay, below 25. Below 25 is young for me.
What's the Indonesian standard of young now?
I don't know, like
High
school.
People have been telling me to get married since I was 19.
Like 20 and under is young.
20 and under is
Or
young.
19 and under. But for advice is know who you're getting married to because it's a lifelong commitment, guys. Like, ask the hard questions. If you're a woman, find your voice. And if you haven't found it yet, then don't be in the relationship because it needs to be heard, you know, whatever you want to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And advice for those of you going on dates very soon, like what I am doing. I have my list of questions of like, I need to ask this man.
Yeah. Like what?
The one that I've already mentioned is dating history, age profile.
But on like the first meeting.
Oh, first date.
Yeah. No, right? Like,
See, I'm very direct. So actually, I have asked that on the first date before.
Really?
Maybe I shouldn't.
Like, I'd ask, like,
Is that intimidating?
I don't know. I'd ask, like, what'd you do on holiday? Like, you know.
You beat around the bush.
I do.
Girl.
Because I feel like if I enjoy his company, I like to, you know, then we get the hard questions. So, jadinya, it's step by step. Like, you're going to give him an exam on the day. He's going to fail, man.
I'm intense like that.
Yeah, I know.
I can't help it.
You'll figure
Okay, first date.
Yeah.
Keep it chill.
Keep it chill.
Okay, I should ask him.
What do you do on holiday? Does he have any pets?
I was going to say, what do you do for your job?
That can do.
Yeah.
That's fine. Where'd you go to school? Do we have any mutual friends?
MBTI. What's yours?
ENFJ.
I'm an ENTJ.
You're thinking, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm feeling.
Yeah. No wonder we get along well. Period.
Yeah.
MBTI, I would ask him that.
That's okay.
You know what my mom wants me to ask?
What?
His zodiac sign.
Oh,
My mom Confucianist.
Okay.
She's Confucianist
So
Buddhist.
she really believes in it.
Very gung-ho about sio.
What's your shio?
Aku kerbo. Dia kerbo juga.
Ox?
Yeah.
Me too. Hard working. Right? Hard working.
The fist pump.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we are destined to work until we die.
Right? Yeah. And you know what? One thing I just realized, ox, dragon, lion, we're the same actually. We're like the big
Lion? Tiger?
Tiger.
Oh.
Yeah, ox, tiger, dragon, apalagi yang besar-besar tuh.
Yeah.
We're like visionaries, like big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we match, so sio kerbo, we match with tikus, mouse, ayam, rooster.
My husband's a rooster.
Ow!
Shio, totally.
Shio. See, okay. Percaya nggak percaya lah. Oh my gosh, I don't know if you
No,
do.
I do.
Oh, you do.
I do.
You're Muslim though.
I know, but and yesterday I was having this conversation juga, and they were like, well, I believed in that stuff when I was 15. I was like, I'm sorry, I believe in it now.
No, but you know what? Oh gosh. Barack Obama, Michelle Obama, they're, I forgot their sio, but pokoknya enggak ciong. Do you know what ciong means?
Oh, really? Yeah, enggak ini.
Enggak. Maksudnya are compatible.
Okay.
I don't know. My mom also gave like a bunch of other like celebrity like marriages that are good marriages, like you know, like the Obamas for example, and their shit are compatible.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, maybe I shouldn't laugh at this shit too much.
No.
I don't know. Maybe there's something there.
No, there is something there. It's lasted thousands of years. There is something there.
God, see, yeah. My mom always wants me to ask what is his Chinese zodiac, and if he's not ox and ox can go together. So if he's not a rat, an ox, a snake, or a rooster, my mom's like, leave him. And I'm like, Mom.
I mean, when I was having a baby, also I was like thinking about that, like a lot.
You were
of
trying to plan.
Yeah, I mean, so like my third is a rabbit, and so is they're 12 years apart. My last one is a rabbit because I love rabbits.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you like rabbits, but did you ever think about the compatibility?
I didn't know. I didn't. But my husband's a rooster. So is my business partner. She's a rooster. A lot of my best friends are. Yeah. So I do think it's true.
Dang. See, at least with me, my compatible Chinese zodiac is there's one that's 1 year 1 year older.
Which is?
The rat.
Oh yeah, the rat.
The rat.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Ancestors, get me a rat.
Now I want to meet your mom and like talk to her about
no.
this.
No,
nggak boleh ya? Okay.
No, I'm never letting you meet my mother. No. Okay, I should ask for his MBTI, his Chinese zodiac for my mom.
But like casually. Not like, oh, by the way, what is... Just be like, do you know what I mean?
Just no. You can know because I'm sorry. I'm just intense.
No, just be like, what year were you
Like,
born?
should not be myself on the first day so he knows what he's signing up for.
Later. Like you can be yourself, but like...
Polished version.
No, not even polished. You're very polished.
Okay.
I'm saying like, but just like...
Gentle.
Like I wouldn't say diluted, but you know what I mean? Like...
Calm.
Yeah, just like...
Chill. Okay. Don't make it obvious that I'm a bit of a maniac. Yeah.
No. And like... Because people will fall in love with you because of that. You know
that I'm a maniac? Oh, true. Apparently, there is this study that sometimes you can scare men into falling in love with you.
Really?
Yeah. They like fear.
I never thought about that. I didn't know that, but...
I saw it today.
Really?
Yeah. Apparently.
No.
Maybe if I threaten to kill him, he'll love me.
No.
His hobbies?
Hobbies. Yes, hobbies. Hobbies. Holiday. You know, where do they work? What do they study?
Yeah, I mean, education.
So all of the questions that there's no wrong or right.
Where does he live?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not like, what do you feel about abortion? Like,
You just know.
do you know what I mean?
No, see, that's my problem. I have such a, like, I like intense conversation.
I know, but you will get there.
Yeah, I know.
You will get there. At first, it's just like a vibe check. It's
I
like,
know.
do I like this person? Can I, like, vacation with him?
But you know what? The last guy that I was seeing, and it was a really good relationship up until he got deported.
Deported from Indo?
Yeah, back to New York.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, work complications.
Okay.
Anyway, that really sucked. Anyway, was really good up until he got deported. But first date, we were trauma dumping.
Really?
My generation, we do that.
Trauma dumping.
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know that.
First date, and
I
I'm
don't
like,
know what my trauma is. I need to figure that out.
your trauma is that your family was very restrictive and very helicoptery. I think that's your trauma.
Helicopter. Maybe.
Maybe?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
First date, we were trauma dumping about our dads.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you've never met your dad?
No.
Wow.
Should I trauma dump on my first date?
Well, it's going to be at a restaurant,
That
right?
is true.
So,
well, I was trauma
and
dumping.
how many is it going to be, like, speed dating?
It's speed dating.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Trauma dumping during speed dating.
Yeah.
How fast can I trauma dump?
You have 5 minutes, right?
I have no idea.
Okay.
They better give me more time than that.
That'll be
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Oh, that too. He needs to know how to yap.
Do you want that, though?
No, he needs to be able to yap, but
And engage.
he needs to be able to engage.
Yeah.
But also, I like people that can yap because I don't always want to yap.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
No, yeah, you don't. Especially, like, you just want a safe zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I like Gita yap whenever she's around.
Right.
Because I'm like, yeah, finally.
Right?
Right?
Yeah.
I can rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I need him to know how to yap too.
Yeah.
But a lot
Engage and tell you about his day.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of men, you know what? I had a guy friend told me one time that's gay for a man to do.
No.
I'm like, come on.
No, my husband will
Yep.
tell me about his day and everything. I
Yes.
love it.
Normalize men yapping.
Yeah, and at night he tells me like bedtime stories. Like I'm like, tell me about like this. Let's analyze. Like we're watching a show together, and he's like, let's analyze this.
You know what's on my list of questions to ask? And actually, no, you tell me if this is safe
Yeah.
to ask on the first date because I think it's something I should ask on the first date.
Okay.
I'll ask him, are you straight?
I think. Okay, isn't that an assumption if he's already with you, or are you
He could be
asking-
bisexual.
Right.
It's gauging two things. See, it's gauging two things. Number one, I wouldn't, not necessarily intelligence, but just like basic awareness, right? Because it's like, if he responds with, well, yeah, but I mean, I can't be gay if I'm with you here now. That means, but you forgot about the possibility of being bisexual.
Yeah.
Minus 10 intelligence points right there.
You're right.
And then number two, if he reacts defensively and negatively towards that, that's a red flag. What do you think?
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
I've asked that on first dates.
And how did people respond?
Well, I was back in LA, girl.
Oh, okay. Well, then here, I don't know how people would respond here, but I think it's okay.
I typically go for more internationalized
I think
men
I
anyway.
think it would be fine.
Fine.
Yeah.
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 That's for...
And you don't have a problem with bisexual?
No, I love bisexual men.
Really?
Yeah, I've slept with bisexual men.
Wow.
They are great.
Wow.
Yeah. No, they're fun.
What's the difference between bisexual and straight
In
men?
bed?
No, in general.
Oh, bisexual men are definitely less... it gives less toxic masculinity, fragile masculinity. They're not fragile about that stuff.
Okay.
Especially the ones that have come to terms with the fact that they are bisexual and they embrace that more feminine side to them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's fun, actually. I don't know if this is kind of weird, but it's like, like men, I have, my ex-boyfriend, the very last one, he's very metrosexual.
Okay.
I loved getting ready with him. It was fun.
Yeah.
Do you get ready with your husband? No.
I mean, I buy all his clothes. Like, that's the kind of man.
No,
You don't-
I'm like, do you do your skincare together?
No.
Do you get many petties together?
No.
Me and my ex-boyfriend, we got many petties together.
I would probably do a facial with him because I've been asking him, like,
Ooh, yes.
because I want him to do that. But
Uh-huh.
other than that, no. But it's not, like, in his routine, nor is it, it's, like, my me time when I go do that. Yeah. But now I get it. Effeminate men, yeah.
Well, not so effeminate either. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not into Harry Styles.
Okay.
Or Timothy
I
Chalamet.
think he's, I like both of them. Are they, is that,
That's they're are they
Right?
They are. Harry Styles wears skirts.
okay, but I really like his like persona.
I think I like men that are physically masculine, but they're able to every once in a while engage in feminine activity.
And I think I like guys who are just like comfortable in their skin, whatever it is.
Sexy,
Yeah.
so sexy.
So I think that's what it is.
Men wearing pink, love it.
Yeah.
Immediate turn on.
Love it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be sure to like, comment, fucking subscribe, all you cunts. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.